Hey guys, and welcome back for another quick build video for one of my favorite go-to DPS classes. This is the Condition Damage Virtuoso, or the Condi Vert, and it was introduced during End of Dragons. It is a unique build and playstyle for those who are willing to do some funky gearing to make sure things work out. This is one of my favorite builds because it has large amounts of CC readily available, with utility like focus pulls, a long distortion, and a satisfying fluid rotation. Before we get into the build, I'd like to thank all of you who have subscribed thus far, and if you are new here or you just like the content, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Let's get into the build. For the gear, you're going to be using a mix of Vipers and Rampagers gear with runes of the crate. Your Vipers gear is going to be helmet, chest, and legs, and your Rampagers gear is going to be shoulders, gloves, and boots. Your trinkets are also mixed, with your Vipers pieces being only the back piece and the rest of it being Rampagers. Relics can be Aristocracy, Fractal, or Akeem, with Aristocracy being best in slot. It is available from the free chests we got during Soto. A critical aspect of this build is going to be the food, and that is going to be potato and leek soup. You need this for the precision, so don't get baited by a birthday cake or an ascended flatbread. A note on this is if you are not using legendary or ascended gear, you may need to swap another piece of Viper's gear to Rampager's gear to hit crit cap. So give yourself Fury, use the potato soup, and make sure that your crit chance reaches 100%. Just missing 1 or 2% will drop your DPS by a significant amount. So don't let that 1 or 2% missing fool you thinking you'll do 1 or 2% less DPS. It'll be more like 10 or 15%. For weapons, you'll be using Dagger Sword with a focus offhand in your second set. This build is relatively simple, with trait lines being Illusion, Dueling, and Virtuoso, with the key traits being Fencer's Finesse and Jagged Mind. You upkeep the first trait by using your Phantasmal Duelist, which is your Sword 5, as often as possible, while the second trait applies Bleed whenever you crit. Sharper Images and Dueling also applies bleeds whenever your Phantasms crit. The playstyle and rotation is very straightforward, with the main tips to use your Phantasms in the correct order, and making sure that you use your F1, F2, and F5 skills whenever they're available, prioritizing your F2 since you are on a Condi build. You should only use your heal skill to reset the cooldown of your Focus 5 Phantasm, and once those are cast, swap back to your sword and cast your Sword 5. The cooldowns of your heal skill and your Focus 5 sync up nicely, so you can do your rotation focusing on blowing as many 5-stack charges of your F skills before rotating back to your focus for another dual Focus 5 cast. Once your F skills are used up and they're on long cooldown, you should use your Signet of Illusions to reset their cooldowns to have a minimal downtime on your F skills. The key weapon skill usage should be your auto attacks and your skill 3 as often as possible, with your skill 2 being used immediately following an F attack to restock your blades. This build is one of my personal favorites, as Jagged Mind also has some built-in sustain for you. You can drop 1000 Cuts, which is your elite skill, for a minimal DPS loss in place of Signet of Humility for a big time break bar damage. In pug groups, I typically run with Signet of Humility, and if you are in ranged fights like Deimos where you're avoiding oils, or in Fractal levels 99 or 100 challenge mode where you have a lot of split phases or the boss moves a lot, you can maintain damage on the boss while these things are happening. And that's the build. If you felt like it was useful, go ahead and drop a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you like the content, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.